let's kick off with some of the UK banks, because we've got the stress tests, of course, this weekend. What do you make of UK banks generally? Who could actually fare badly, do you think, this weekend?
I think generally the UK regulators have been looking for higher capital levels than what we've got, got coming out of Europe ahead of the stress tests. So I think that the UK banks will generally be all right, and we're actually reaching a phase for UK banks, believe it or not, where they're starting to accumulate capital. So I think even if they look sort of don't score well in the immediate things, I think the outlook in terms of retaining capital will look quite good. So I think there'll be less focus on the UK and slightly more on the continent.
All right, but are you buying the UK banks right now?
We've remained invested in the UK banks on the valuation grounds throughout this, and you know, especially some of the domestic names look interesting as we get more concerned about sort of Middle East, about Asian and emerging market growth.
Glaxo numbers out in a couple of hours. Clearly, Ebola and Ebola vaccine is one of the big stories when we look at this. When we look at this stock now, I think they're in a race with Johnson and Johnson to bring out a vaccine. How important a story is this for Glaxo? Do you like the stock? If they win out on the Ebola thing, do you like it even more?
I think, well, these things like Ebola vaccines are great for headlines. We saw it with sort of Tamiflu a couple of years ago. It can be very hard for companies to capitalize in profit terms from these things that have such a big public health benefit. For example, on Ebola, they're working very closely with the World Health Organization, so NGOs there. I mean, generally, we like GLAXO'S vaccine business, and we think it's an undervalued part of the business because, you know, the vaccines, the demand remains quite strong, whereas some of the new drug pipeline has been a bit more worrying. So I think as a whole, the vaccine business is attractive, but I'm not sure Ebola is going to be a game changer, even if they do beat Johnson and Johnson.